and can't find a way through a real difficult spot in your life, and you come to me saying, Bill, I've got to have some help here. What can you do? Whatever it happens to be. Maybe you're going through some kind of pain that I can help you with, or you're going through some kind of mental pain. You become very, very much more motivated to let go into this state, and get the job done to some success than you were when you were watching the stage hypnotist. Need plays a big role in your expectations and where you're going to go with hypnosis. Everybody has those levels that they can go. Everybody can go in, everybody can come out. Your need, your comfort with the state. If you don't like me, if I don't seem like a trustworthy person that you can work with and become friends with, and enough that you trust me to take you someplace like that, what are you going to do? You're not going to go, are you? If I'm some sleazeball that's likely to lay a hand on you, especially women, if I start working with women, I've got to be, there's a race thing and a gender thing that I've got to watch. I've got to be careful of in working with people, and the words that I use and the way that I talk and so forth, to be able to be that person's friend, because truly you have to have a lot of trust in what I'm doing. If I don't radiate that kind of trust, I'm not going to have many clients. And even if I do have a client, if I'm not able to radiate that kind of trust, I won't have that much success, because the person's going to be just like you're talking about. They get about halfway there and say, no, I'm not leaving my conscious state, because I've got to go deep in order to get this, and I'm not leaving. I had a case, I was working with a young lady, about 22, 23 years old, some years back. I'm going to say probably 13, 14 years ago. And she was suffering from agoraphobia. I don't know how many of you are familiar with agoraphobia, but what it is basically a fear of being amongst people or being alone. It's the reason many people become hermits. They've got to close themselves off from the rest of the world. These people have certain phobias in going out into the world. They don't want to be with people. If they leave their house, they'll only do it when they take some certain person with them. They won't leave the house and go someplace unless maybe mom goes with them. In this case, it was mom. But they'll typically have one person or another that is their anchor that they can always depend on to go with them. It's almost unbearable for them to go over a bridge if they're driving. They might be able to get to drive a car, but they won't go over a bridge. There's a variety of reasons for agoraphobia to start. Typically it's in young folks, young adults. Typically there is some sort of sexual abuse sometime. If we do regressions, we typically find some sexual abuse early on in life, or some kind of traumatic event. And in working with it, we have to know what we're doing. You don't just want to have any Joe Blow working on this stuff. Well, anyway, I worked with her. I started using the standard techniques for inducing hypnosis. And I worked, and I worked, and I worked, and I worked. And I was probably in doing this 2 hours. Finally, I called a halt to this. I said, this is not going anywhere, And she says, I'm not being hypnotized. Well, no, you're not. She said, nobody can hypnotize me. And I said, that's not true. You can go into hypnosis. I says, have you ever been hypnotized before? Oh, yeah, I've been to 2 or 3 hypnotists before. All right, let me talk about those hypnotists. Did you choose them? No. My mom chose them. They were just guys out of the phone book. Okay. Did you like them? Were they really nice people? Did you really think that they were going to do something for you? No, they were all jerks. Okay? What methods did they use to induce hypnosis? Well, they did the same thing you were doing. Relax, relax, and what have you, going through the standard techniques. Aha! I, by default, by the way I'm doing this, fit into the groove. I'm another jerk, if I do that. So I said, okay, let's do something a little different. This is where, I'm talking about innovative hypnosis techniques is one of my specialties there. So I worked with a different technique, something completely different that not many people do. She immediately went into hypnosis, and she went nice and deeply into hypnosis. And I did several suggestions to help her, repeated it several times to work with her, work it firmly into her subconscious mind. I brought her around in about 15 or 20 minutes. She got up, bolted, she was gone. Typical of agoraphobics, by the way. She was scheduled already to come for 3 sessions. She came back for the next session. She says, I'm sorry, I left the way I did. Here's the money for the first session. Because I wasn't. I needed the time. It's typical to get up and bolt. She said, how did you do that? And I said, well, how did you hypnotize me? She said, nobody can hypnotize me. I said, oh, that's not so. I hypnotized you. It's fine. And really, it was a case of association with people that she didn't like. That's why I say, it has to be someone you can know and trust. She had seen me work someplace. She chose me. She came to me wanting some help with her agoraphobia. Oh, by the way, her big problem was that she wanted to go to work and couldn't go out of the house to go get a job. 1 session. She came back the second session. She says, you know, I got a job. I'm working for an IBM company. All the stuff I learned in college now is going to work out okay. I says, okay. And we worked a little bit more that day. She came back one more time later on, and I said, is everything going fine? She says, oh yeah, job's going fine. Yes, but I want to quit. I want to quit and go someplace else. That's why I want to come back. That's why I want to do something. I said, what's the matter? She says, in order to get to where I want to go, I've got to cross a bridge. Can you do something with that? So we worked on that, and we eliminated the problem with crossing bridges. And now she's gone from somebody that couldn't go out of the house, couldn't be with people. And I said, what is this new job, new place that you want to work? She says, I want to become a teacher. She's going to be surrounded with people. She went on, she got her job, and I've seen her times since then. I haven't seen her for several years now, but she was very successful with it. So it's a case of, how can it help you? It can help you if you wanted to. And do you have to trust the person's working with you? That's kind of where it's acting. So, you didn't go into hypnosis well for the stage show. It doesn't mean that you can't get some benefits out of hypnosis. See, everybody here, everybody that you know, with very little exception, goes into hypnosis every day. At least twice, and more likely 10 or 12 times a day. How can that be? Hypnosis exists in a dissociative state. Okay? You have to learn to escape from your conscious state of mind into another state. Well, in order to get from consciousness into sleep, you've got to go through the alpha state of brainwave activity, from beta to alpha to theta, and sometimes to delta. Okay? As you pass through alpha, you're in the state that we call hypnosis. It's like walking, as I explained upstairs. You got some of these rooms, you've got the hallway, then you've got a vestibule, and then you've got the room. Upstairs in D2001, you've got a doorway there that's got double doors. If you can learn to stop in the little vestibule between wakefulness and sleep, you can learn to do self-hypnosis.